Let's bring in Texas Republican Senator and gubernatorial candidate, Ms. Kay Bailey Hutchison, old friend of the program. Senator, great to see you. Thanks for coming back on.
Thank you, Larry. Great to be here.
I just want to get your take before we go to Texas and talk about your gubernatorial run. Let me get your take, number one, on the Kerry-Boxer cap-and-trade bill. And in particular, you know, I just heard Senator Kerry, who is a friend, frankly, a personal friend. He's been a guest in the show. But he said green jobs will create 4 times as many as the carbon jobs lost. That is not the experience in Europe. It's exactly the reverse, as I understand it. That is, for every green job, they lost 2 carbon jobs and maybe 4 carbon jobs. So you got to straighten me out on this. You're the expert.
Oh, you got it. You know that this is going to send our American jobs overseas. What they're doing is they're going to tax the industries that produce our oil and natural gas, our basic resources for energy in our country, and it's going to send the jobs overseas. The refinery capacity, the refiners are going to pay the taxes. Every person's electricity bill is going to go up. The cost of gasoline is going to go up. Every form of energy will go up. It is unilateral disarmament. And further, Larry, even the EPA administrator admitted that if America does this by ourselves, which is, of course, our law would do it by ourselves, it won't have any impact on the global carbon emissions problem. So we are taking away our own jobs. We are increasing the cost of electricity and energy for every American family, and it's not going to help the global environment because no other country is going to have these kinds of standards.
I'm dying to get to Texas, but I got to ask you, as I understand it, the Kerry-Boxer bill restores the EPA's ability to regulate carbon emissions. That actually was taken out of the House bill. Now it's been put in. Is this like a double whammy? Cap and trade and tax and EPA regulation? I don't know if we can take that. I don't know if my system can take that.
You know, really, it's just so naive. And the sad thing about this is the one thing that we could do to reduce the carbon footprint, most efficient form of energy that we can make is nuclear. And this administration has refused to even allow the increase in loan guarantees that would encourage more people to invest in nuclear power plants. It's the cleanest energy, the safest, and the most efficient.
All right, let me, I'm going to skip over Copenhagen for a second. John Boehner's going to talk about that later in the program. I'm going to spare you that one. Look, let me go to the Texas story. You've been 16 years in the Senate, by my count. You've become an extremely prominent senator, indeed a national political figure. Why are you leaving now to go run for governor of Texas?
I am very concerned about what is happening in Texas. We have increased state taxes in Texas over the last 5 years so that business taxes are up and our property taxes are up. At the same time, I'm very worried about the Republican Party going down. I think this race is going to be about whether we're going to build the Ronald Reagan big tent in the Republican Party or whether we are going to continue to shrink our base. We are 2 away from losing the Texas House of Representatives. And that's just a, that means it's the beginning of the turning of Texas Democrat, and I don't want that to happen because I think that the conservative, mainstream, responsible leadership should be Republican.
All right. Governor Perry is saying that you are, what is his word? You are a creature of Washington, heaven forbid. How do you react to that?
Well, I've been representing and protecting Texas in Washington. I have been voting against the Obama big spending. I've been fighting the government takeover of health care. Now I'm going to be fighting the cap and trade, that would be cap and tax, hurting our businesses all over this country as well as our families. I think the fact that those of us who are Republicans in Washington representing our states and trying to stop all this bad stuff is what people should look at. And I think it's kind of a cheap political talk to paint someone who is fighting all of this in Washington as of Washington.
Just come back to this tax issue. It's very interesting. The Tax Foundation, nonpartisan, highly regarded, they've come out with their new 2010 state rankings, and I looked up the Texas story. Turns out Texas has gone from 7th, meaning the 7th best, all the way down to 11th. They were 7th in 2006. They are now 11th in 2010. And let me just read you. Texas is 46th now in the corporate tax burden. That's almost as bad as New York and New Jersey. 39th in sales taxes and 30th in high property taxes. Now, can you improve on that? Do you have programs you're going to push in this campaign?
Yes, I am going to attempt to lower property taxes. I'm certainly going to reform this business margins tax that was put in place that doesn't have a profit part. You can make no profit and still pay the business margins tax because it's on gross revenue. And I just think that's wrong, Larry, and I want Texas to be a great state in which to do business. I want to attract business. We don't have a state income tax. We have certainly a right-to-work state, and we're a state that has good tort law. So that is good, but these high taxes are going to mitigate the greatness, and I want to go in the direction of low taxes, a really limited government, and I think that Texas needs new leadership to do that.
So among other issues, you're going to run a supply-side tax-cutting campaign? Is that what I'm hearing?
Yes, yes. I am going to be for cutting taxes. I am going to be for addressing our problems. Governor Perry, unfortunately, has been touting toll roads. That's another tax. I don't think every highway in Texas should be tolled. I think we ought to have more innovative solutions. So I think there are going to be differences. I think it's just time that we start looking at limited government and low taxes and a good business environment to build our Republican Party back and welcome people in if they are for limited government and low taxes. And I think the governor's kind of strayed, and I think it's time to bring Texas back.
All right, Senator, thank you for coming back on. We hope to see a bunch more during this campaign. We appreciate it this evening.
Thank you, Larry. Great to be with you.
All right.